All right, let's see if we keep on heading lower here. I entered on ES on the 1 minute breaker block. Like I said in the stream, we have our 1 minute breaker. Market structure shift here on the 1 minute. Also signs of a market structure shift here on the 5. Because we did close below. Hang on, let me zoom in here. Below that most recent short-term low right here. Now we also close below this, what used to be a bullish fair value gap, turning it into an inversion fair value gap. Pointing out that slight SMT divergence here because NQ did not clear the lows. Now we broke below it and we can label it as inversion fair value gap right here. Let's also label this as NFP lows. So if we're looking to take ES lower, we would anticipate resistance. Well, within a downtrend, we look for resistance on up closing candles. So this is the up closing candle within the downtrend. So after breaking below that, we look for the retest to continue lower. We also have the inversion fair value gap and the midnight opening coming in right at this level. Now the market structure shift is really confirmed, so we can erase the question mark. What's the time? It's 9:55, so 10 a.m. will open up shortly. Let's take a look at the 4-hour candle. Huge rejection wick. We've seen those a lot recently on the 4-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame might be looking like a bearish engulfing on NQ. We're going to leave behind, well, yes, definitely looks a lot more bullish with the inversion fair value gap and the bullish fair value gap we're going to leave behind, so keep that in mind. NQ doesn't look as bullish depending on where we close, because we theoretically still do have that same hourly inversion fair value gap, which could play out if we break it down to the 5-minute. This is the hourly inversion where we could be bouncing from. Let me actually get rid of this. Make this gray because it's on the hourly. If we see the close below the inversion fair value gap on NQ, that would also be a sign of weakness. You can quickly copy the ICT all-in-one indicator and put it on this chart. Then it will show us the hourly time frame in a second. Yeah, there we go. So this is the hourly inversion and the new hourly bullish fair value gap that's going to be created. That's not correct. Midnight. Well, some things aren't being drawn correctly, right? Midnight. That's 10. Alright, okay. Wrong settings. Alright, NQ is heading lower. Let's mark out equal low. No, that's the low of the day. Still managing my short at the same time. Okay, NQ already ran NFP lows. Let's see if it's going to take out the low of the day here as well. Close 25% of the position on ES. Take some profits home. Perfect. Took perfect partials here as well on the other funded accounts, where it's copying from and to. NQ having cleared the lows, NES being inside this hourly and 5-minute bullish fair value gap, might be some, in my opinion, it's concerning. See that hourly bullish fair value gap, inversion fair value gap. Overall, ES doesn't show the higher time frame weakness just yet. So if we really want to see this continue, first of all, I'm gonna close 20%. Come on, close 20%. We secured profits. Let it run if it wants to run. Move our stop loss to break even here. Now we're gonna do this manually, just like said. So in Q, we now have bullish SMT divergence on the higher time frame. ES looks much stronger. I'm going to put this to my second screen. Then I can focus on the charts a little bit more. There we go. That's much better. Let's get rid of this. I mean, so far from my entry on the breaker block, that's already a... Put the stop loss at the high. A 1.6 risk reward. If it runs all the way to NFP lows, it's a 3-to-1 risk reward. 60% still running. But yeah, the thing I don't like, well, come on, let me grab this here, is the fact that here on ES, we still have that higher time frame. Reason to believe that price could bounce off this area with the bullish fair value gap. That's overlapping perfectly with the inversion fair value gap. So that's what you would call a balanced price range when inversion fair value gaps, bearish and bullish fair value gaps overlap perfectly. Essentially, we do have a nice low formation here, SMT with NQ, and so far throughout the session, he has been the stronger asset. So this could turn out to be, well, the manipulation. It's 10 a.m. now. Yep, that's a 10 a.m. candle. We'll keep an eye on it. We do have a new bearish fair value gap. Here on ES. Also a slight new bearish fair value gap on NQ. We close below the hourly inversion fair value gap on NQ. We talked about this earlier. Where's on? Can't do that right now. Now we have a good eye on both our charts. Any questions, anything you want to share? You took the quick scalp from the fair value gap retest to the NFP low on NQ. Nice. Right here, this one. Well, I mean, it did play out perfectly, not gonna lie. We, first of all, closed below the only bullish fair value gap, well, the NFP bullish fair value gap, we could call it, because it happened at 8:30. So this is a inversion fair value gap now. We left behind a bearish fair value gap. We filled it into the tick. We had the midnight level here, which also helped rejecting price. We had the VWAP holding price right on the VWAP line. We got a first nice rejection, closed back below the inversion fair value gap, came back to retest it once, and 10 a.m. delivered into NFP low sell side. That's actually a very nice scalp in terms of price action. But personally, if I see such a massive SMT divergence between both indices, especially at the high of the day, and we talked about the accumulation, manipulation, reversal, distribution stage, I prefer to short the one that's up higher. It has more room to run into the NFP low target. Comparing that to NQ just didn't offer that same risk to reward ratio. So yeah, that's why I short at ES here instead of NQ. I'd say 80% of my trades are on NQ, but well, if it makes no sense to short NQ over ES, then it's gonna be ES. Also for safety purposes, I want to be shorting the one that gives me, or trading the one that gives me a decent setup. I mean, accumulation, manipulation, distribution right at the New York Open, massive SMT divergence. So in terms of buy-side liquidity, ES has already cleared buy-side liquidity on its manipulation move to the upside. NQ didn't really. So there's potential for NQ to actually do that and invalidate the setup. So just a little bit riskier from my point of view. But let's see. We're starting to turn slightly here. On NQ at least. But yes, it's not showing us that same strength, at least just yet. Like I said, we're still inside the hourly bullish and inversion fair value gap right here. Keep that in mind. Same thing, by the way, here on NQ, but we're actually below this inversion fair value gap, and we didn't even create this hourly bullish fair value gap that we've seen on ES. So that's what the hourly candles look like right now. Always important to zoom out, and I like that's why I included it into the ICT all-in-one indicator. Instead of switching time frames like this, all you have to do is simply go over to the right, see a higher time frame. You can set it to the 4, 1, 15, and every time frame essentially. I don't like switching between time frames. I usually have my entry time frame and my higher time frame on the same chart, side by side, and then I make my decisions based on that. It's as simple as that. If I start switching through time frames, usually I tend to check all of them, and then I just drive myself into analysis paralysis most of the times. Keep it simple. That's the motto. Time for some music would be nice. And I don't want to be connected to this one on my Mac. Come on, disconnect. Fuck off. Make sure I am still using the correct input device here with the microphone. Yeah, that's still working. Output device. All right, perfect. That still works. Like I said, guys, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. That's what the streams are for. If you want to talk about something, I keep an eye on the chat. Yeah, it's all about the risk management in my eyes, so that's why I took the short on ES. Yeah, feel free to ask. Shoot it. For some reason, am I connected? No, I'm not connected. Should still be, yeah. Recording is also working fine. Oi. All right, there's the question. Took you a while to type it up. All right, so I have 200 future 50K considering right there, and I think I'm ready to get my payout the next few weeks. In theory, I can request a payout after making 1.2K per account, and then I would be able to pay out the whole one. But if I do that, my account is nearly untradeable because I don't have threshold left. You get me? Should I withdraw it when I get there? Just have my first payout money secured, and just get new accounts afterwards. It definitely does make sense. I think every trader that gets to the payout stage thinks about it. Should I secure the money that I just made right now, or should I leave my safety buffer in the account and only secure profits above that safety buffer zone? One of the reasons why I am such a fan of CFD funding firms because once you're funded, you don't have to worry about a shitty safety buffer and all that stuff. You simply are funded and you make your profit, and every 7 days or 14 days, depending on the prop firm, I get paid out. I don't have to worry about the buffer zone and all that stuff. It's not the worst, it's all manageable, but in the end, only you can answer that question. If you feel like those 2.4K will really help you out at the moment, and it's very easy for you to get to the funded stage again, then don't worry about it. Like, definitely do it. Definitely cash out those 2.4K and get on with it and start over again. But if you don't want to start over again and you want to, well, just keep on going, requesting payouts with everything above this 1.2K safety buffer zone, then keep on trading with it and start requesting payouts with the profits above the buffer zone. That's really what it comes down to. It would be your first payout and would cover all the expenses. Yeah, that's what I don't like about the future funding firms. So theoretically, that's your hidden step too. You can request the money off your funded account, but if you do that, your account's basically gone because you barely have any trailing drawdown left. So it's not really a one-step challenge, in my opinion. It's a two-step challenge. The first step is getting to the funded account, and the second step is making enough profit to be above the buffer zone. And once you're above that buffer zone, well, then you can really start requesting payouts. Well, that's your second criteria or condition, which really makes it a two-step challenge in my eyes. Well, in the end, it's your decision, but take the payouts. Because, yeah, as trader, it's one of the most important things to actually get paid. And then, I don't know, maybe something makes click or starts to click and you realize, okay, right, this is actually working. If I put in all this effort, I can make profits and I can also withdraw them. So it's not just a dream or a hope anymore. You've actually done it. So yeah, maybe that encourages you to do it again. Yeah, perfect. Then do that. Do that. Don't think you're making a wrong decision there. And if you're really consistent and you didn't reach this didn't make it to that payout stage by accident, shouldn't be an issue to get to that stage again. But if you're like, oh shit, how did I get to the payout stage? What did I do? I don't know. Then yeah, it might be an issue to get to that payout stage again. Or if you're just gambling, taking one large trade, nah. I'm going to take another partial here. I don't like how NQ is forming a potential low formation here. With lower lows failing to take out the low of the day, and yeah, I don't know. Chopping. Forming some sort of a low formation here. So I took another partial on ES. I mean, we did close below our bullish fair value gap and use it as resistance to continue lower. But we also do see wicks to the downside, so just another 20% partial. Looking at the hourly time frame one more time. We're already at the lower end of our hourly bullish and inversion fair value gap. But now it is 10:20. We have to watch out for the 10:30 timing window. 30:30 as I call it. Let me zoom out here on my MT5. All right, that's perfect. Oh yeah, I'm happy with funding pips. They pay out on time, usually within 24 hours. I get paid weekly. Can't complain about that. Don't have to worry about any stupid payout rules. I just can't hold trades over the news events. Yeah, so far I'm happy with funding pips, yeah. It's not the best CFD funding firm. The best one would be FTMO, hands down. If you want to go for the safest firm. And 5%ers. But yeah, funding pips is doing well as well. I like their one-step challenge. Currently doing a one-step challenge with E8. Funding pips is already funded, and my funded FX. With all the trades copied. With Traders Connect, you see it right here on that screen. Makes it easier, in my opinion. I know you have less maximum drawdown if you compare it to the typical two-step challenge, where you have to reach a 8% and then a 5% profit target. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really need that much drawdown. So I decided to go for the one step with a smaller profit target of 8%, but also, yeah, less maximum drawdown. I think 6%, which is fine. For me at least. But every trader is different. That's why, yeah, it's important to watch that. 1 second. Could you explain what the difference in benefit between are, especially why to choose over normal future profit, and if that takes long, do you have a video recommendation? Yep. Talked about it a couple of times in my channel. Hey guys, and welcome back to playlist. Then I have this the prop firm reviews playlist. I'm gonna copy the link here. Let me show you an example. There we go. Looks like my take profit target is going to be hit on AS. Come on. Incredible. Those YouTube ads, it's messed up. Right, so if you compare the rules, you have a 5% daily loss limit with Topstep. There's a daily loss limit of, that's the evaluation phase. With Take Profit Trader, you have a 2.2% daily loss limit. With Apex, you don't. You have a 10% static max drawdown. Looking at the two-step challenge, where you have a 8% target during the first phase and a 5% target for the second phase with 10% static max drawdown. So it's not trailing with you, essentially. You don't have a consistency rule. You only have to pay once and you get a refund on your 4th payout of that initial fee. So there's no activation fee once you're funded. And essentially, if you look at it, let's say you go for a Topstep account for $50, usually that's what, with the discount, what it usually goes for. And then you pay the activation fee of $150. Well, get out with the same price that you would pay for a funding pips challenge or any CFD challenge, and without the possibility of getting the refund. Yeah, the main difference is the profit target to drawdown ratio. Here you can see 6% target, 5% drawdown, 6% target, 4% drawdown, 6% target, 4% drawdown. Here you have a 8% target and 10% drawdown, so actually more drawdown than target. And here it's actually twice as large, so theoretically much easier to pass. All right, we hit the targets on ES, nice. Done for the day. Perfect setup here. Perfect. Yeah, and the main difference is that you trade on a CFD account with MT5 or with Trade Locker like I'm currently doing. But yeah. I just recommend watching through that playlist. That's well enough. I mean, you could always hold longer, but honestly, why go through all the trouble? I mean, catching a shot from here like you did, stop loss at the high, NFP lows. Let's say no stress, 1.8 risk to reward ratio. And now your profit is hit and it starts doing this, forming a potential low. And now it hits 10 a.m. You just have to go through all that worrying and, I don't know, the emotional difficulties of trading essentially. And if you can avoid it and you're happy with a 1.8 risk to reward on NFP day, fucking take it and close the charts. Yeah, as long as you don't take profits early. Let's say if you would have took profits here because you're scared, well, that would be a mistake. But targeting the NFP lows, not a mistake at all in my opinion. All right, profit target hit. So overall I caught at least today it worked out. Yesterday on the stream, unfortunately, our 2022 model on NQ didn't play out because we didn't hit the equal or sell side yesterday. We did it this morning, but this was the target, 3-to-1 risk to reward. Awesome. But I'm going to end it here. It might continue to drop, don't really care. That's gonna be it for me today. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm gonna enjoy the vacation for sure, even more now. All right, so let me first of all stop the recording, close MT5 out here.